This is what I hate about these goofy ass boxing niggas. Brian Norman Cena, whatever. If I'm the biggest bitch in boxing, have your son come show me I'm the biggest bitch in boxing. Because I'm going to tell you something, homie. If me and your son get in that ring, bro, I will hurt your son. I'm not no Devin Haney, gang. I'm not no Devin Haney. Brian Norman is trash, nigga. And I came to your gym in ATL, nigga, and dealt with him. After sparring Bud, after sparring Tiger, and dealt with your son, bro. Everybody in ATL done seen that. What you think gonna happen in front of the world? I will spank that nigga. Fuck wrong with you, you bum ass coach, nigga. Get the fuck out of boxing, nigga. And I told you was gonna lose to Devin.
What's good, Just Do family? It's your boy KB back to get boxing is Just Do. And man, what's going on in the world of boxing? Nothing much, but some back and forth, a little Twitter beef, Instagram beef, a little exchanging of the words, man. So you heard it from Richardson Hitchins, man, who just moved up to 147 pounds. He essentially didn't hold back and called out Brian Norman Jr. and his dad. He had some very choice words for Brian Norman Jr., who, since losing to Devin Haney, for taking his first defeat, he's bounced back against Josh Wagner, who he completely obliterated and dominated, as y'all see in the clip. I mean, he pretty much had his way with Wagner. Wagner talked a good game, talked a really good one, but when it was time to fight, man, he had no answers for the young storming Brian Norman, and he got blitzed. He got beat down. It looked like it turned out to be a showcase / tune-up type fight. Brian Norman just getting his feet back wet, like I said, after losing to Devin Haney, taking his first defeat. But credit to Brian Norman, he made some changes in his corner. He's now with Ronnie Shields. I think he looked particularly well in this fight. I get it. It's not a top tier opponent. It's definitely not a guy like a Devin Haney or Richardson Hitchins. But we didn't expect it to be in his first time out. Since then, Brian Norman's name has been in different conversations with some really good fighters. Keyshawn Davis was one of the names that people was hearing that Brian Norman could be facing. Obviously, a lot of this stuff be rumors until, it's signed and sealed. But Brian Norman did what he had to do against Josh Wagner, dominated him. And now he's being called out by Richardson Hitchins, who's saying he's a bum. He said, you know what I did to you. And ATL asked everybody what I did to you. And, he said Brian Norman Jr. was a bum. Now, we all know Richardson Hitchins in his last fight, all rebounding off the fallout of the Oscar Duarte fight, who everybody was saying he ducked. He since then dropped his title at 140, moved up to 147 pounds, and wouldn't fought Salas, who, like I said, he completely dominated. His jab was on point. He was razor sharp in that fight. He looked really good at 147 pounds. Sharp, strong. He looked healthy, man. That's the most important thing. He looked healthy. He looked like he belonged. I'm glad he made the move. Now 147 is getting really interesting. You got guys like Tiger Johnson, as you just seen in the clip, Hitchins, making his way. You got the Devin Haneys of the world, right? Roley just lost to T.O. T.O. has been called out multiple times by Richardson Hitchins, right? They got this whole New York back and forth thing going on. It's some names out there, but this Brian Norman and Hitchins fight would be really good. Like, as I said, man, Hitchins dominated his last opponent, and so did Brian Norman Jr. I mean, you seen them trade words on social media. Hitchins said he'll knock out Brian Norman. Brian Norman said, let's get it, F Ninja. You know what he's saying. So at the end of the day, Brian Norman Jr. is a guy that's really about all the smoke. He's willing to fight any and everybody. I truly believe that. Given the opportunity, he'll fight whoever it takes to get where he's trying to get to. And you need guys like that in the sport of boxing. I think we all should appreciate and get behind the energy that Brian Norman Jr. is pushing. Now, Hitchins at 47, look, he's talking a lot more confident. He signed to Zuffa. I mean, look, he's very outspoken, as he's always been, but I think he got a bit of a bad rap being at 140 and the fight falling out with Duarte. But I think it's water under the bridge now. We've seen what he looked like at 47. What better way to prove it against a young, hungry lion like a Brian Norman Jr.? I think the world would be interested in the fight. Good style clash, the boxer versus the boxer puncher. We'll get to see what Brian Norman Jr. has learned since, aligning himself with Ronnie Shields. we'll get to see Richardson Hitchins and what he's really worth at 147 pounds. At the end of the day, all these guys are going to have to mix it up for it to make sense. They all claim they want to be champions, they want to be the best, they want to make the most money. Well, the only road to doing all of those things is through each other. The best and the top guys fighting top guys. The champions fighting champions, trying to unify and different things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see how all this unfolds. But Richardson Hitchens, like I said, he did not hold back on Team Norman. Said his dad is a bum coach, get him out of boxing. You know, like I said, he went off on Brian Norman Jr., but Brian Norman Jr. ain't nobody to be poking at. He'll definitely give you what you're looking for. You know, we've seen it in the past. This guy's got some of the most brutal knockouts that you've watched, some viral knockouts. He's about everything he say he is, right? If you're gonna beat him, you're gonna have to beat him. But he's willing to fight you, not on Twitter, in the actual boxing ring. I think Hitchens is one of the best young talents out there, as I've stated numerous times. You just need the opportunity and the stage to prove it. So far, so good. With every opportunity in the ring, he's passed with flying colors. So let's see. Let's push for fights like this. I think the boxing world could get behind a Brian Norman Jr. versus a Richardson Hitchens fight. Belt or no belt, we don't care. The fights sell themselves, man. Talent versus talent. Let's see it. Let's see what Brian Norman Jr. has learned. Let's see just how real Richardson Hitchens is at 147. That's my thoughts. Get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about all this. Are y'all interested in the Stormin Brian Norman Jr. fight versus Richardson Hitchens, aka Africa? And as always, man, y'all let me know if I gave boxing a just due, because that's what I do over here, just do boxing. Till the next one, I'm out. Peace.